I'm Jim Kircher. St. Louis is marking the 50th anniversary of the completion of the Gateway Arch. And we've got a couple of stories about that involving some engineering, metallurgy, new technology, and even a bit of archaeology. The arch recently underwent what you might consider a complete physical exam inside and outside, and we'll be talking about how that turned out and the sophisticated lab tests that were involved. But we're going to begin with the big makeover, not of the arch itself, but of the grounds and the museum. The plans for that and the big hole they have dug in the place where St. Louis began.
We'll just continue on into the museum.
The City Arch River folks invited reporters and photographers to let them see just how far things have gotten on the new addition to the new Museum of Westward Expansion. That's the existing outside wall of the museum and visitor center. They knocked through that doorway and will expand out towards downtown, with a new, more welcoming entrance facing the old courthouse.
This is all part of literally bringing the entrance to the arch into downtown St. Louis. It's for the first time really physically connecting the structure that represents St. Louis to the city.
But even before we went inside, we were getting deep into local history here.
At that back wall, that's the old level of 2nd Street. So that's how much lower we are than historic St. Louis, which existed prior to the creation of the arch grounds.
When the arch was built, a lot of dirt was piled on top of the existing streets, partly to raise the entire arch grounds above the railroad tracks, which the railroad had refused to move. So this dig removed that fill dirt on its way down to bedrock.
That's really the old street level,
yeah,
right below the old street level.
Absolutely. The old city basically sat on top of all this bedrock, and now we're dropping a little bit lower.
The Park Service does have an archaeologist who's cataloging and documenting the bits and pieces of old St. Louis that have turned up, but so far, nothing really out of the ordinary among those artifacts. Then we went inside the museum. Actually, it's a construction project, and actually at this point, it's more of a demolition project.
Well, we're getting close to the tail end of our demolition. We've already started pouring floor slabs at the north side, and we're going to be, obviously we have a lot of debris left to pull out, but over the next couple of weeks we're going to be back into put-back mode.
Well, it's almost impossible to get your bearings in what used to be the museum, but if this helps, this is where the statue of Thomas Jefferson stood and greeted everyone. Jefferson will be coming back, but a lot of the old stuff in the museum won't. Earlier this year, the museum was closed and the exhibits packed up. The new museum will be more high-tech, more interactive. You'll see it the moment you walk in.
It's going to be completely different than what was here before. So the Museum of Westward Expansion opened in 1976. Very innovative when it opened. Did not get updated much after that. And so this will be a completely new experience, a complete reimagination of this museum. We'll tell the story of Westward Expansion, and importantly, St. Louis's role in Westward Expansion in new, interactive, and engaging ways that really speak to the 21st century museum goer.
One of the victims of modernization might be the film Monument to the Dream.
By the fall of '63, the distance they had come was reflected in the great river, and for the first time, its grand scale was apparent.
Charles Guggenheim's half-hour documentary on the building of the arch has long been shown every day, but now they're working on other plans for that theater. It's not a done deal that that film's going to continue to play every day as it always has.
Maybe not in the format it is today. You know, nothing's been decided there, but we are looking at different roles for the Tucker Theater in the future, and one of those roles is going to be to provide a more an experience. We will never be able to make the top of the arch fully accessible to the public just because of the constraints of the way the arch is built. So what we're looking to develop in the future is an alternate experience for people that are either claustrophobic or physically can't make the trip to the top.
Expansion and the museum will be completed by the spring or summer of 2017.